We got a big old coof update, and it's not quite, I can't really say that about the final story, but for the most part, it's kind of positive, because it looks like mandates are finally starting to get proper pushback. Sort of, kind of. But let's take a look at what Biden is saying, not what he's doing, because we all know he's going to fucking betray his own word here. I mean, he's announcing a renewed effort to combat COVID-19. Okay, because I guess maybe he admitted that he let his foot up off the gas, and maybe he had to take that L that he has actually killed more people than Trump did in 2020. I'm just saying, you know what? Hey, once again, if you want to say that I have a plan, but now you got to renew your effort at the end of the year, fucking weird. But and promises no lockdown or additional mandates. How long until he decides to backtrack on that? I bet it won't take very long. Other countries around the world are doing as much. Anyways, President Biden on Thursday announced a number of measures he hopes will help combat COVID-19. Just stop. Just fucking stop. Let everybody go back to regular life. But you won't do that now, will you? You'll try literally everything else except for just get out of people's private fucking business. But that's what you've been doing so far. That's one thing that we could take him at his word for. And his administration struggles to control the disease, but vowed not to try to force areas to lock down. I'm gonna vow to try to not maybe potentially tamper with anybody. I'm gonna vow to try that, I guess. After 2 cases of the virus variant Omicron, which we've also looked at the symptoms earlier in the week, and boy, does it look threatening. It's like, ugh, whatever, fuck. Unless they come up with a new variant that, I don't know, fucking impregnates everybody with Rosemary's Baby, I really don't give a fuck. I am so out of shits to give when it comes to this garbage. Biden and his administration are extending the mask mandates on airplanes. Wow, so hopefully he renewed his efforts and said that no additional mandates. Hopefully he made that statement before extending the mask mandates. So see, like I said, we already have all the mandates that we need in order, so I'm just gonna go ahead and extend them longer because they work. Even though I need a new approach to tackle this, we're just gonna go ahead and double down on the shit that we were doing before. All right, makes sense. Mask mandates on trains, planes, and automobiles until March of 2022. Fuck off. Fuck off. Helping launch hundreds of new vaccine clinics. Okay, enforcing all inbound international travelers to test negative for COVID within 1 day of departure, regardless of vaccination status or nationality. Cool. But don't let in any of those darkies from any of those 8 countries in Africa, you fucking old racist. The president and his advisors are also ramping up marketing to try to convince all eligible Americans to get booster shots. Sure, that's going to be where he's going to make his first walk back of his renewed effort. And he's, no more new mandates or anything. No, we're just going to try to mandate booster shots. As more and more studies show COVID-19 vaccine efficacy wanes over time. But don't talk about the booster efficacy, because if you want to see something drop off faster than Biden's mental acuity, you can find it right there with boosters. It's all part of what the president describes as a battle plan to combat COVID-19 this winter. What the fuck? Like, have we gone anywhere in an entire year? Doesn't really look like it. The plan, Biden said, pulls no punches in the fight against COVID-19. Same kind of verbiage that he tried to use when he was talking about domestic abuse victims. But then again, he's an old man with very senile ramblings. With hopes that the effort unites us. Oh, sure. Go ahead and bend to our fucking false idol of Fauci. Because if you don't, then you're fighting against uniting. Whatever. The plan doesn't include shutdowns or lockdowns. Oh, okay. It also says it doesn't include additional mandates. But it could eventually in the future. Don't test me. The 3 primary mandates he and his administrations have put forth are currently blocked by courts because judges said that they're likely illegal. Actually, we got an update on that, because we talked about the one that the judge barred, where it's like, okay, public health, or I'm sorry, the public sector. That's not for the government to fucking interfere in. So, step 1. Step 2, judge expands block of Biden's COVID-19 vaccine mandate for healthcare workers. A different court ruled on his... Apparently, if you listen to Twitter and all the experts that were out there, they said that, it's legally binding and there's precedent that's already on the laws to make sure that this stands. It couldn't even get past federal appeals court. Really do hate to see it. Federal judge in Louisiana on Tuesday issued a preliminary injunction to block Joe Biden's national COVID-19 vaccine mandate for healthcare workers, which is set to go into effect next week. Sucks to suck. District Court Judge Terry Doty in Monroe, Louisiana, issued the injunction to expand a separate order issued on Monday by the Missouri Federal Court, which applied to just 10 states. So now this is just going to be even larger. So, okay, can't mandate private industry, can't mandate healthcare workers. What's next to fall? Federal workers? That's awesome. In doing so, the judge ruled in favor of a request from State Attorney General Jeff Landry, a Republican, to block an emergency regulation issued by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services on November 4th. Took you long enough. Landry said in a statement to the Epoch Times, "We applaud the ruling and stand with last year's heroes who knows what's best for their health care better than the government's bureaucrats." You'll love to see it. The president's vaccine mandate requires all healthcare workers, full-time, part-time, volunteers, anybody who showed up at a hospital, anybody who parks cars in the parking lot, contractor workers and healthcare facilities receiving Medicaid or Medicaid funding to receive the first COVID-19 vaccine jab and then the subsequent ones that will follow after that. Don't worry, it's not just going to stop with the second one because they're already wheeling out all the marketing dollars to put those out-of-work fucking celebrities onto the government tit. So you wonder why Hollywood always lines up behind the Democrats? Because they're paying for fucking marketing. What the hell did you expect? Doty argued in his ruling that the CMS lacked the constitutional authority to issue the vaccine mandate that would affect more than 2 million healthcare workers that are yet to be vaccinated against the coof, because it's their own fucking decision. There's no question that mandating a vaccine to 10.3 million healthcare workers is something that should be done by Congress, not a government agency. Yeah, try to pass it through Congress, see how far it gets. It is not clear that even an act of Congress mandating a vaccine would be constitutional. Yeah, again, so you can try to legislate from on high through executive order, which you lambasted Trump for. Oh, you shouldn't be legislating, you shouldn't be ruling by executive order. How many are we up to for Biden? Yeah, but anyways, yeah, and it wouldn't even pass through Congress, you'd think, but it would once again fall on the desk of the Supreme Court. And if you've heard any of those idiots talk, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily hold them in high fucking regard. But since we got to speak about more dubs from courts, we got this feel-good story here before we get into the absolute abysmal state of mainland Europe. Dying COVID patient recovers after court orders hospital to administer ivermectin. Interesting. Very fucking interesting. And a great story that we have here. An elderly COVID-19 patient has recovered after a court order allowed him to be treated with ivermectin despite objections from the hospital in which he was staying, according to the family's attorney. Huh. Weird. We're going to keep this one pretty much between the lines, for obvious reasons. After an Illinois hospital insisted on administering expensive remdesivir to the patient and the treatment failed, his life was saved after a court order that an outside medical doctor be allowed to use the inexpensive ivermectin to treat him over the hospital's strenuous objections. Illinois, huh? Interesting. Ivermectin tablets have been approved by the U.S. FDA to treat humans with intestinal strongyloiditis and onychrosis. Words. Two conditions caused by parasitic worms. Some topical forms of ivermectin have been approved to treat external parasites such as head lice, and for skin conditions such as rosacea, the drug is approved for use on animals as well. Obviously, the popular horse paste, right? But it also won a Nobel Prize for Medicine in 2015. Anyways, remdesivir has been given emergency use authorization by the FDA for treating certain categories of human patients that have been hospitalized with COVID-19. But the use of ivermectin to treat humans suffering from COVID-19 has become controversial because the FDA hasn't approved its so-called off-label use to treat the disease, which caused the China virus, also known as SARS-CoV-2. Critics have long accused the FDA of dragging its heels and being dangerously overcautious and indifferent to human suffering in its approach to regulating pharmaceuticals, a criticism that led to then-President Donald Trump signing the Right to Try Act in May of 2018. Why aren't they allowed to try anymore? Interesting. The law, according to the FDA, is another way for patients to who have been diagnosed with life-threatening diseases or conditions to have tried all approved treatment options, who are unable to participate in a clinical trial to access certain unapproved treatments. All right then. Medical doctors are free to prescribe ivermectin to treat COVID-19, even though the FDA claims that its off-label use could be harmful in some circumstances. Clinical human trials for the drug to use against the coof are currently in progress, according to the agency. How long are they going to be under investigation, or rather being studied as well? Are we looking at a timeline like Hunter Biden's laptop with the FBI? Open investigation since 2019, so maybe we'll get to the bottom of this, and I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that ivermectin is very, very inexpensive when you take a look at everything else that's already out there, especially when I don't know if we can just extrapolate this out just a little bit further. You take a look at how many doses of the jab that the United States government has purchased, and I don't know, maybe if we just draw a couple of little tenuous lines, but let's get to the subject of the article here. Sun Ing, 71, that's his name, who was visiting the United States from Hong Kong to celebrate his granddaughter's first birthday, became ill with COVID within days, was close to death. He was hospitalized on October 14th at Edward Hospital in Naperville, Illinois, a part of the Edward Elmhurst Health System. His condition worsened dramatically and was intubated and placed on a ventilator a few days later. I thought that wasn't good. Ing's only child, Man Kwan Ing, who holds a doctoral degree in mechanical engineering, did her own research. And decided that her father should take ivermectin, which some medical doctors believe is effective against COVID-19. That's just those doctors' opinion, but what do they know? They're just doctors. Despite the FDA's guidance to the contrary. Yeah, don't you remember their tweet saying that it was bad and it's just horse paste? I also believe CNN. But against the doctor's wishes, the hospital refused to administer ivermectin and denied access to the physician willing to administer it. Oh, okay. Remember, do no harm? Yeah, well, neither do those doctors. The daughter went to the court on her father's behalf on November 1st. Okay, so like 2 weeks after he was admitted to hospital. Judge Paul M. Fullerton in the Circuit Court of DuPage County granted a temporary restraining order requiring the hospital to allow ivermectin to be given to the patient. The hospital refused to comply with the court order. What the fuck? Holy... Oh man, this is infuriating. At a subsequent court hearing on November 5th, Fullerton said one physician who testified described Sun Ing as basically on his deathbed or within 10 to 15% chance of survival. Ivermectin can have minor side effects such as dizziness, itchy skin, and diarrhea. It doesn't sound as bad as dying, but hey, I'm not a corrupt Illinois doctor at the dosage suggested to Ing, but the risks of these side effects are so minimal that Mr. Ing's current situation outweighs the risk by 100-fold. No shit. Dizziness, itchy skin, and diarrhea. Okay, some Pepto-Bismol, some fucking lotion, and lying down a little bit, which he's probably been doing for the better part of a fucking month at this point, but you do you. The judge issued the preliminary injunction that day, directing the hospital to immediately allow temporary emergency privileges to Ing's physician, Dr. Alan Bain, solely to administer ivermectin to this patient. The hospital resisted the order on the 6th and 7th. Oh, boy, I would have had Kyle Rittenhouse on speed dial. Denying Bain access to his patient, the hospital claimed that it couldn't let Bain in because he wasn't vaccinated. He wasn't vaccinated against the coof, and that the chief medical officer wasn't available to proctor Bain administering ivermectin. The doctor's attorneys filed an emergency report to the court on November 8th, and Fullerton heard from both sides. What could... Oh, man, this is fucking infuriating. The judge admonished the hospital and restated that it must allow Bain inside over a period of 15 days to do his job. When the hospital filed a motion to stay the order, listen, this guy's going to survive because his doctor wants to do something that we're personally not comfortable with, and we won't let him leave either. What the fuck? Fullerton denied it. Thank God they have a good judge. Again, directing the facility to comply. Ivermectin has appeared to work in this case, and Sun Ing has recovered from COVID-19. He was discharged from the hospital, and I pray a civil suit is coming on November 27th. So, like a month and a half being in a hospital that is actively rooting for you to fucking die. My father's recovery is amazing. His daughter, Man Kuan Ing, said in a statement, "My father is a tough man. He's working so hard to survive, and of course, with God's holding hands. He weaned off oxygen about 3 days after moving out of the ICU. He started orally feeding before hospital discharge. He returned home without carrying a bottle of oxygen and feeding tube installed in his stomach. Thank God. This is awesome. He can now stand with a walker at his bedside and practice stepping. And beyond being sedated for a month and on a ventilator in the ICU, his performance is beyond our expectations. Praise the Lord." Attorney Erickson said the happy end result here provides hope for the nation. Yeah, but don't let that information get out there. And who knows if this video will be taken down because I'm once again sharing some good fucking news when it comes to the coof. But I don't want to take any credit for this. Thank God for the Ing family. I'm not a religious man, but I think that's appropriate considering the verbiage that they're using. Like, there's nothing short of a fucking miracle with the base judge, the informed daughter, and the frankly tank-built old man. Like, unfortunately, now we gotta kind of drag it down, way down, because we talked about it at the beginning that Biden said that no new mandates are coming, but hey, where tyranny starts, the rest of the world is going to follow. And Germany, we talked about this not that long ago, they were discussing returning to their roots and locking down the unvaccinated. Now they're just going to do it. Fuck everybody. They were bickering about how they were going to go about it, but today they just decided to lock it down. German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Wow, a woman in charge exercising too much authority. Who could have possibly seen that coming? Announced on December 2nd that it will lock down unvaccinated people, as top officials also signaled that they would back plans for mandatory vaccinations in coming months. Cool. Merkel said individuals who aren't vaccinated for COVID-19 will be excluded from non-essential stores and cultural and recreational venues. Don't they already have a fucking vaccine passport? So this is just once again just another boot on the throat. Like, fuck off. The Bundestag, Germany's parliament, will also consider a general vaccination mandate. Awesome. Very unfamiliar, incredibly unfamiliar with the legal doctrine and any sort of Bill of Rights, any sort of constitution that Germany has. But we see about, I don't know, every couple of generations that gets fucking summarily ripped up, and Germany just has one of their own. And I think we're descending into that. This time they're just going to war against their own citizenry. The situation in our country is serious, she told reporters, claiming that the new measures are an act of national solidarity. Yes, it is us versus them. She said masks will be required in schools and there will be restrictions on private meetings. Awesome. Vaccinated people will also lose their vaccination status 9 months after receiving the last dose of the vaccine. Cool. Mandated booster shots. So is that just going to continue every 9 months? Cool. Who could have possibly seen any of this happening? We have understood that the situation is very serious and that we want to take further measures in addition to those already taken. Merkel, who's slated to leave office soon, told reporters don't think that that's going to go ahead and stop anything that's coming because the people, last time that we talked about this, the people discussing these measures were the incoming leadership. So, and I forget what party they come from. Does it really matter? And I think we all know what party they come from, especially when it's Germany. The fourth wave must be broken, and this has not yet been achieved. How long is this fucking fourth wave going to be going on? Because we've been talking about the fourth wave. Interesting that Germany would be talking about the fourth anything, but hey, I digress. This has been going on since like the fucking summer. Oh, we need to stop it. Oh, we need to slow it. Oh, it stopped. It's slow. Oh, no, wait a minute. It's coming back. Sure it is. Keep finding your fucking variants that literally don't cause anything new and in fact remove some of the original symptoms. Oh, it's more transmissible. Is it? Is it? Have you done any studies? Yes, 6 people that we've sequestered have all filled out this questionnaire, and we believe that it's far more deadly and dangerous than anything we've ever seen before. Cool, trust us, totally. We can. You can't check our homework, but totally believe us. These fucking these tyrants, man. This makes me sick. That's why I wanted to share at least one good story in the middle, but fortunately we had to cap end it with one senior citizen and somebody who also remembers the third wave that came out of Germany, if you catch my drift. We got something completely different coming up next. YouTube's biggest challenger is going public. You fucking love to see it. But with that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.